Hello, guys. Welcome to another episode of Fox Talks, and this is going to be a brief discussion about the AWS bootcamp that is launching in the month of November. I am Tarak Sakardande. I work as a senior security consultant at Redfox Security. With me, I have Shashi Prasad. Sashikant, could you please introduce yourself to the audience?
Yes. Thanks, Tarak. So hi guys, my name is Shashi, and I work as a principal security consultant at Redfox Security. I primarily work on red team engagement and cloud assessments, and sometimes I dabble into web applications as well. Apart from that, I lead a team of wonderful pen testers and red teamers at Redfox. So yeah, that's about me.
Great, great. And likewise, Sashi, we have shared a fair amount of space in the
Yes.
cybersecurity field. So there are different type of pen tests that even
Nice.
we conduct in network security.
Yes.
So why do you think AWS pen testing is very much critical nowadays in the field of cyber?
Okay. So before going over AWS pen test, let me start for the newcomers what AWS exactly is, and then we'll see what AWS pen
Surely.
test and why it is critical.
Lovely approach.
Right. So simply AWS is a cloud computing platform. It provide on-demand infrastructural services like servers, databases, storages, and networking to the customers, which can be your students, which can be your people working in the companies, and many more. And it is on demand over the internet.
Yeah.
So anyone with if anyone with infrastructural needs, they can just they can create the infrastructure using AWS in just a matter of clicks. So companies or professionals who wants to use infrastructure like servers or databases, so don't have to pay an upfront hardware fees, right? They can easily, as I said, easily go to AWS, whatever infrastructure that they need, they can just click it and it will be up in a matter of seconds or minutes. um, Apart from that, AWS also provides security, inbuilt security features, so you don't have to worry about security of most of the parts. But yeah, there are some gotchas that we will be seeing. Apart from that, yeah, also it is as I said, it is on demand. So if a company wants to upscale their infrastructure or downscale, again they can do in a matter of clicks. So don't have to they don't to have they don't have to allocate a sum of money for the hardware. And let's suppose a company goes like the company revenues are not growing up, so the hardware is they have purchased will not go anywhere, right?
Yeah.
But in case of AWS, let's suppose their company is not doing great, they can reduce the upfront cost.
Yeah.
If we take example of the amazing sales that is going on Flipkart and Amazon, so right now the workloads are very high, right?
Yes.
So right now they have increased the capacity, they have upscaled their servers, networks, etc, etc. And once the this festive season will go down, they can easily downscale as well in again in matter of minutes.
Matter of
Yeah.
minutes.
So yeah,
So
that's
it's like
about AWS.
okay.
And if we are talk about AWS pen test, so AWS pen test is like um, testing the security of these cloud environments in a way that an attacker can target them, right? So if we can find issues and misconfigurations in a cloud environment before an attacker does, we can safeguard them. So that's what AWS pen testing is, which is testing the security of these cloud environments.
Crazy.
Yes.
Likewise, it means that even the companies they don't really need to worry about much of the resources or setting
Yes.
up the servers. All
Right.
of that is
Taken
taken
care.
care of.
Yes.
Great.
And AWS AWS has a share of around 30% of the cloud infrastructure players. We have Azure, we have GCP from Google, we
Yeah.
have Alibaba, we have many more, and AWS is one of them and the prominent one.
Yeah.
It has a market share of 30% of these cloud vendors. And since it has a large share, so it means that many businesses, companies, and even governments are using AWS to fulfill their infrastructural needs. So it means a lot of traffic of these companies is on the internet over AWS.
Okay.
Hence, it is a prime target for attackers as well, because they also know this. Since we know that AWS has 30% of the market share, attackers also knows this.
Yeah.
So that's why they target AWS infrastructures because many companies and governments use this for their needs. Yeah, that's why AWS pen testing is critical, so that we as pen testers or red teamers find these issues before them, and we will be one step ahead. Yeah.
Amazing, amazing. Likewise, again, Sashi,
Mhm.
you have had a lot of experience with red teaming, web
Mhm.
applications, and a lot more different fields of pen testing.
Right.
So, what exactly do you feel makes AWS pen testing a bit different from the traditional pen testing?
Okay, that's a very, very good question. Why? Because AWS pen testing is quite different from a traditional pen test. So if we take a traditional pen test, there we look for open ports, what are the services running on them. We try to find misconfiguration and exploit on the system. Then we gain access to the system and then pivot through the network. Right? That's how a traditional pen test looks like.
Yes.
But AWS is different because it's all about the services that AWS offers. So here we are pen testing the services,
Mm-hmm.
not the system, but the services that AWS offers. Here we are not looking for any zero-day exploit or any or any exploit that is out there on the internet. Here we are mainly testing about the misconfigurations, the permissions, the identities that is offered by AWS. So mainly again the in AWS we are focusing mainly on the services, and it believe me AWS has a lot of services, like around more than 200 300 services that they offer. And since there are lots of services, we have to be pen testing each of those services so that there is not any vulnerable service that is out there that attackers can exploit. So yeah, it is mainly about testing the AWS services.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also, now that you have told the what's and the whys of AWS pen testing,
Mhm.
how does one actually start off learning AWS pen testing?
Okay. So learning AWS pen testing is very easy actually. But why newcomers are facing difficulty in learning AWS? First of all, they think that if they create an infrastructure for learning, it is going to cost them. And sometimes we all have done the mistake where where we leave a server running and it has costed us a lot, right?
Yeah.
So that is one of the barrier that it has. But again, AWS also has a 12-month free plan. So there you can use most of the service freely for the first 12 month.
Mhm.
So yeah, if you don't know about it, then you can use that. So if you are worrying about upfront cost, then I think you can use that 12 month window. um, and if we look at the pen testing side of things, again, learning AWS might be easy, but the pen testing side might be difficult. Why I'm saying that? Because there is not of lot of resources in AWS or cloud, you can say that that you can use. And even if there are some resources and courses out there, but they don't teach about AWS first. What are the different services? They directly jump in the attack part of those services. So if you don't know about a service, then how can you exploit it,
Mhm.
right? So that's what I feel lacking in blogs and videos that is out there. Um, yeah, these are some of the barriers. So that's why I created this AWS pen testing bootcamp, so that I can bridge this gap. I'm going to be teaching them the very basics of AWS, what are the services it offers, and the use case of these services. And once they know that, then exploiting become very easier. It's all
Mhm.
about misconfiguration that we can going to find in them. Second thing, we are going to be providing them the hands-on labs as well, so they don't have to um, pay for the labs explicitly.
Yeah.
So the bootcamp will have the labs included in it, so they can easily finish those labs, learn it, and then gain those AWS skills. Yeah. So that's why I think the bootcamp is going to be starting in on November 8th. So yeah, you can take this bootcamp, go over the content of the bootcamp, and then decide whether you want to take the bootcamp or not. Yeah.
Yeah. So, likewise, Sashi, for a fair amount of time,
Mm-hmm.
I constantly hear you saying the term service, service.
Mm-hmm.
So, since there are a lot of services that you mentioned in
Yes,
AWS,
yes.
what's the most or the biggest service that attackers target?
As I mentioned that there are around more than 200 services that AWS offers, but every company use case is different, right?
Mhm.
So some company might use 10 to 15 services, some might use 30, 40, 100 of services, and some companies might use it, some small scale company might use it like 3 to 4 services. So all these services vary. So these services are like EC2, S3, Lambda, RDS, things like that. But one of the main services that every company is going to use is the IAM service, which is the identity and access management services. And this is the service that is the prime target of the attackers. As the name suggests, identity and access management services. So it is a service that manage the identities, that manage the authentication, and that also manage the permissions that are going, that the user or identity is going to get once they are authenticated. So it is basically the brain of an AWS account. Okay, so that's why it is one of the major service, and even a small misconfiguration in this service can create a big loopholes in that service, and attackers can easily exploit those loopholes or misconfigurations to escalate their privileges and become the owner of that account. So, and once
That's
they
a big
become
one.
the owner, they can do anything they want. So that's why IAM is one of the prime target for attackers, and this is the service that you need to learn the most, because it has the biggest impact. Yeah, and it is also quite confusing to learn as well. So I have tried, I'm going to trying my best to make you understand this particular service in a detailed manner, so that you don't have any more questions on IAM, its misconfiguration, and how you can fix them.
Amazing. And likewise, Sashi, since there are a lot of boot camps out there, and is there a specific section of report writing that you are going to teach?
Absolutely. As with every Redfox cybersecurity academy courses, this bootcamp is also going to have the section of report writing, because as the name suggests of the bootcamp, it is AWS Pentest. And what's the end goal of a pentest? It's about delivering a report to the client. If the students or the professionals don't know how to write a report, so they can easily attack and find the issues. But if they don't know how to write a proper pen test report, so that they can make the client easier to understand the misconfigurations and the remediations, then it is a win-win situation for a pen tester as well as the client. So that's why report writing section is there in this bootcamp as well. Yeah.
Okay. And likewise, the one last question before we end the podcast is, you might have guessed it. Every student wants, so end goal of every bootcamp or a course that they enroll in, they're very much interested in what certification is going to be there. So is there any certification that you are going to provide?
Yes, absolutely. There is a certification which is called Certified AWS Penetration Tester. And how you get the certification? You complete the boot camp, you go over the labs, practice them, and then there is an exam. You pass the exam, send a report to us, and if everything goes good, then you will be getting the certification. Um, this is a practical certification. Why? Because there are many courses out there, and certification which are just MCQ based question. Even the certification from Amazon itself, the AWS itself, is MCQ based question. So again, I don't know how we can learn by theory and passing the exam using the MCQ based questions. I think it should be a more practical approach, so that students can validate their knowledge,
Yeah.
so that they also know, and also the clients or companies also know that, hey, this is a pen tester and he has passed a practical exam, so he knows how and how he knows things practically. He knows how attacker approaches the environments, and he or she knows how to write a proper pen test report.
Yeah.
So that's how it is very important.
Yes, I completely agree with that. Is because even in we have been in this field, you can see that anything when we talk about pen testing, it's actually someone learning the hands-on and having a complete knowledge of how to perform a pen test, which is primarily be going to be taken care of since you are going to give them labs and as well as a certification exam. Amazing. So, any final thoughts from your side?
What I can say that cloud is the future. As we are seeing a shift in our pentest as well, that earlier we used to mainly work on the on-premise pentest. Now companies are also moving their on-premises environment to the cloud environments. So that's why we as pentester need to level up our game and learn about different cloud pentests like AWS, Azure, and GCP, so that we will always be one step ahead from the attackers and make the cloud a secure place.
Amazing. I mean, it was really amazing having you on this podcast. As
Thank you.
always, it's
Thank you,
always a
Tarak.
fun conversation having Sashi on a podcast. And I wish you all the best. Also, if you guys don't know about the details, Sashi is going to lead the AWS Bootcamp on 8th of November. So if you want to have any details or want to know more about the course curriculum,
Mhm.
what are the modules, what are
Yes.
learning content, labs, anything, all of those details will be available on our academy.redfoxsec.com. Again, in case you are the folks are new to this podcast, and you are wondering what we do, so at Redfox we provide end-to-end client penetration tests ranging in fields like Active Directory, web applications, application security, and a lot more. Apart from that, we always pump content on YouTube. As you can see right now, we are doing podcasts, and a lot of learning content is also out there. If you are interested in our courses, boot camps, do check them out, as rightly said, on academy.redfoxsec.com, and we will see you in the next one.